Hey, it's Soul, bringing you the World of Warcraft, and today I'm just gonna cut to the chase and give you a handful of some of the best changes and features that have come to WoW. As always, like and share to support the channel, and let me know how you feel about this list or what's a favorite feature of your own. First off, we have dual specialization. It's not here anymore, now that we can switch between any of our roles at will. But once upon a time, if we wanted to change our talents or basically our spec, we had to go all the way back to a class trainer and throw down some or a lot of gold and reset our talents. Then hope we don't misclick a talent point, then we have to reset it again, son of a bitch. It wasn't until Wrath of the Lich King when this feature was made available, giving players some much needed flexibility. Once upon a time, killing mobs en masse was sometimes not the best idea, even though it felt really good. Dead mobs despawn as they should, but back in the day there was a chance that they despawned before we even get a chance to loot them. For the longest time, players could only loot one corpse at a time. AOE Looting came to WoW in Mists of Pandaria, and players haven't looked back since. The days of having to squat over and over in the same spot are, well, over. In the very early days of WoW, switching realms to play with friends meant rolling a new character, so did changing your name and gender and faction. It was a short matter of time before Blizzard realized, hey, we can monetize this stuff instead of frustrating players into leveling their 20th character. But this still took a while to finally implement. Paid character services came out in pieces, including what I mentioned, as well as guild transfers and full-on level boosts. The WoW token is kind of a mixed bag, but it belongs on this list for a few reasons. One is that it obviously opens up the opportunity to not only play WoW without having to fork over any cash, but now it allows players to purchase digital goods from Blizzard without paying cash either. I'm avoiding the word free this time because someone else is paying for your game time or your Battle.net balance, but the twist is that these players are quite willing to do it. We can call the selling of gold a detriment to gameplay, we can preach its poor taste on Blizzard's part, but ultimately we've got to accept that the buying and selling of gold has happened and will happen regardless of the token's existence. The WoW token is a safe, secure way for gold buyers to get what they need when they have sufficient reason, but insufficient time to do it. But what the token also does, especially now that it can be traded for what's basically Blizzard bucks, is crack open the vaults of WoW's richest players who have been sitting on their gold for years, and bring millions upon millions of gold into the active market and with any luck, keep it there. Sure, there will be inflation in the player-run markets, but hey, it goes both ways. The only real barrier to entering the competitive gold market is ambition. Part of the beauty in WoW is that you can pull off some really wild looks if you wanted to, but it wasn't until late in Cataclysm until players got the feature to change or transmogrify their gear to their liking. Not everyone would be happy knowing that their best in slot set has them looking like a death knight up top and, well, nothing on the bottom. Thanks to Transmogrification, not only can players look the way they want, but it helped bring new life into older content that was otherwise seldom visited. WoW is a massive game spanning 12 years, 110 levels, and about 7 continents. Blizzard made a lot of changes to help players along with getting people through the leveling content, but heirlooms play a huge role for longtime players with the hunger to power level in alt and the gold to spare. Heirloom gear has started out as a modest boost to character power and experience gain, and has since grown to meet the needs of the expanding game. Special weapons and trinkets from Mists and Warlords respectively have even helped players sitting at the forefront of a new expansion with a reward from the one they just previously played. Account-bound systems tied together a few things I mentioned earlier and make up the foundation for countering the argument that WoW is not alt-friendly. There are probably still a few players around who farmed for 2 time-lost proto-drakes or Ashes of Alar mounts. These days it's hard to imagine players not having access to these features across all their characters when it comes to not just mounts, but pets, transmog access, and heirlooms. For those odd groups, guilds, and families that have had trouble filling a spot or benching someone who didn't have good reason to be, the flexible raid system introduced at the end of Mists of Pandaria reshaped the raiding landscape. It almost felt like magic when players first dug into Siege of Orgrimmar with the peace of mind that if players come and go, their experience won't be altered as dramatically as it would have in the past. Cross-realm zones and sharding might be both a necessity and a compromise of a player's experience, but being able to group with friends from other realms is not. It's a way players have been able to sidestep the commitment and possible buyer's remorse that comes with a realm transfer. It's allowed whole crowds to come together through the pre-made group tool or to join their favorite live streamer for shenanigans. Share your thoughts on this video, like and sub for more, and stay breezy.